Hello, it's Captain Dak here again, and we're continuing. Thanks to Estelle, she's reminded me of another four, which I think are good stories, and she remembers them in very much detail. She's got a great memory, but we're going to talk about Gertrude today. Now, if you don't know, Gertrude was my dearly beloved Land Rover, the 1960 Series 1 ex-Army, which I had for over 20 years, and I don't know why I went and sold it. I wish I'd just kept it and put it up in blocks somewhere. But anyway, I sold it for about 5 times as much as I paid for it. But if I'd kept it and done it up a little bit, might have got about 20 times more I paid for it, or even more. So anyway, I'll give you a photograph here. Here's Gertrude, a photograph of Gertrude. And Geraldine when she was quite a bit younger. And you can actually see where the number plate is. You can see it's got a dent in it, a little dent there, which I'm going to tell you about shortly. But that's Gertrude, the one and only Gertrude. Been in literally hundreds of hunting trips and hundreds of fishing trips, been used to sleep in, been all sorts of four-wheel drive roads, has been across rivers, and it's never died. It's just an amazing, amazing vehicle. Well, when I was harbour master in Taupo, I used to take Gertrude, of course. I used to use it quite a bit, and I used it for shopping. And Taharepa Road, where the Mole and Chicken is one of the steepest roads in Taupo. It's a very long, steep road, and it goes right down to the main lakeside road, and it's a sort of a T-junction, and after that it's just over the little cliff into the lake. And I'd parked Gertrude facing downhill opposite the shops, and I went into the dairy, and as I came out, to my horror, I saw that Gertrude was moving down. I put the handbrake on, but obviously it wasn't holding. She's starting to move off down the hill. I left the engine running, and there was a teenage guy who says, for God's sake, run, see if you can get in and stop it. And he did try and get into it, but this time it was going too fast. And there was Gertrude. Oh, she careered down the hill, and she went a bit left, then she went a bit right. And from where it was to the lake must have been about getting on for nearly a kilometre, or at least 800 meters. And luckily there's no traffic coming up the hill. And she just kept going and kept going, and about got up to really fast speed. And then about halfway down the hill, she lined up this concrete power pole, and she hit it right square in the middle, as you can see by the dent in the number plate. And she had a very, very strong steel bull bar made of 3-inch steel. Went right back and connected on the chassis down and the back end, and it was incredibly strong. So what happened? I was horror to see that the first thing that happened was a shower of sparks and whatnot, and then she came to abrupt stop, and the power pole fell over her at an angle, and all sorts of the power went out of the houses and all sparks and everything. So that was it, and I got there, and you know, although the seats and everything had been shot forward, and the engine was still running, and I had a look up the front, and yeah, the bull bars were a little bit dented, but the number plate and the front bumper, they maybe got set in about half an inch. Any other vehicle in the world, bar a tank, would have just been, the whole front end would have been written off. So she took it really well. So needless to say, the neighbours phoned the police, and they came, and I sort of vaguely recognized one of the policemen. I shook his hand, and he took it very tentatively and suspiciously, and I told him what had happened. They hadn't been drinking, so there was no question about that. And I explained what happened, and sure enough, he went and tried the handbrake, and there it was on, but it wasn't obviously holding, and explained it all. And then one of the senior guys came from the police, and he just roared with laughter. He says, "Ah, great." He said, nobody injured. And he rode off again. And then it only took about 5 minutes for the foreman of the Ministry of Works to come. And he just came and he just looked at it and he says, "I cannot effing believe it." He just shook his head. And of course, the neighbors were all out, and I got offered a cup of tea and all sorts of things. But, you know, then I came back later on, and they managed to reverse got it off the, reverse it back. And of course, the thing just came tumbling down completely, the power pole. And I luckily, I didn't have to pay anything. It was on the Ministry of Works. Insurance paid for, otherwise it'd been a horrendous cost. So that's it. There's the tale of one of the many tales I could tell about Gertrude, but that was probably one of the most spectacular ones. There we are.